Welcome to the Talking Turtle podcast. My name's Hayden, and today I'm joined by the one and only
Teddy.
And today we'll be reviewing episode 20 of the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, TV series.
So yeah, today we're going to be reviewing episode 20 called Enemy of My Enemy. And quickly before we do quickly get into that, there was something which I feel like you might be interested to hear, and that was basically we uploaded our podcast a few weeks after we done them, and there was a little and only recently did we have the one for the Pulverize come out. And there was an interesting comment, which I feel like even you might like to hear. As much as we don't like that episode, for, specific reasons, shall we say, there were some interesting things which were revealed to me the other day, and I feel like I'd like to share them. If I can find it.
Alright then.
Okay, so I found it. So, it's a little bit of a description, or a little bit of a paragraph, but I feel like even you will enjoy this. So this person called Varian Best Boy, they put, to be honest, I can't like Timothy, but Pulverizer was an okay character, and I may just be protecting here because it seemed like he generally wanted to do good in Mattel's eyes and be like them. Hell, he even tries to mutate himself in another. Oh Jesus, sorry about that. Hang on, let me. Sure, it could be a bit cringy if he does, but we know, but not all of us do some cringe things before. He generally seems like he wants to be like a Fatals and looks like them too. But I'm starting to realise this is actually really riddled with lots of spoilers. But basically, the main thing here is basically saying that basically the reason why we're hating on Pulverizer so much is just because he is basically us in a way, and we hate him because of that. And after reading that, I was like, yeah, I do still see myself within him in a way, and I don't want to be like this person is correct because of that reason, but it is still very true. Getting back to the actual episode, what do you think of this episode briefly?
Briefly, this episode was an alright episode. It wasn't particularly fond of my favourite one, but we do get to see a lot of the Shredder, which is awesome. Just seeing the Shredder out and about and just fighting the turtles, finally. We finally get to see it. And I've been hoping for that for such a long time, but overall, this episode is a decent episode to watch.
Yeah, I have to say that this episode, for the most part, was okay, and just things were just happening because they had to happen, which made the whole plot just go long. But I will definitely say that the whole ending fight scene on the docks, definitely say that it made this episode one of the best episodes in the season. And yeah. Okay, so the beginning part of this episode, we start off with the Toes basically looking on Attacks Karai, and that's when Karai comes in, and then that's when a crankship comes in. And the crankship is chasing down the turtles. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was alright. I don't have much to say for it because it was a bit bland, in my opinion. But I did like how Karai came in out of nowhere. She automatically finds the turtles just anywhere. It's as if she put a tracking device on Leo. But when the alien ship comes out, that was actually interesting. That because we're seeing something new for the first time as the viewer, and just seeing that ship come out. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a giant floating jellyfish at first, not an alien ship, but it's the Krang, and the Krang's just weird in general. But seeing that,
yeah,
and also seeing Karai and the turtles as well, just together, we've seen it before, but just this felt different this time. It will get, as the episode goes on, we see a lot more difference, especially with Leo and Karai. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I'd just say that for this beginning part, I thought that like it just one of those things where basically things were just happening because it needed to move the story along. I mean, the Turtles somehow knew that there's going to be a crank ship there. Karai was just there, and then it just felt like things were just happening for the fun of it, really. And I feel like for the most part that would be fine if it wasn't like I mean even with the fight scene, it just felt I think the best way to describe, I hope I'm using the word right, like very lackluster. Basically, it should be interesting, but it just didn't really have any like motivation behind it or emotions. It just felt, oh, we need a fight, so they put one in, and yet nothing really just comes of it, and it's like a bit weird, and it just feels as though like it's just happening because it's happening. Um, but then we do have the ship like chasing down the turtles and Karai. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was actually pretty. It was alright, this scene. However, finally, someone actually recognizes them. Like they're actually seen for once. The turtles and Karai, and of course the Krang. Like, how can you not miss the giant floating jellyfish-looking alien ship just fly over New York? And I really laughed when the homeless guy said, "It's like those darn aliens." Like it's like if it was a normal Tuesday for him, just seeing random aliens on the street. Like that was
Yeah.
funny. Just seeing him like, oh, it's aliens. So what? It's like there's no panic, no nothing. He just turns over and falls back to sleep again.
It reminds me a lot of the Stan Lee cameo from Avengers Infinity War, where it goes, "Oh, haven't you kids seen a alien spaceship before?"
Oh my god, yeah, that is funny. Yeah.
You have to say that for like the most part, I thought like the chase was okay, but again, it just didn't really have anything going for it for the most part. Um, Leo used shurikens to stop it. I don't see why he would think that would work, but yeah.
Mm.
I wanted to say that one of the cool shots from this scene was when the Turtles are looking up from the sewers in at the spaceship and they got blue and light on. I thought that was like really cool to see.
Yeah, that was
Um,
cool.
yeah, I think it's just like it's different kind of shots and like a little bit of a different location, and I thought the lighting was really good for that scene as well. I know it wasn't anything too special, but it was unique for that kind of scene, and I think it makes it stand out.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. Then for the next scene, we do have Karai talking to Shredder, saying, "Oh, there's gonna be an alien invasion. We need to stop it." And Shredder says, "No, we're gonna continue with our plan." What do you think of this scene?
This scene was pretty cool. Like we're seeing the Shredder again, and of course Karai, and we're going into the relationship of them at the moment. Of course, we find out later that their relationship is pretty deep, but we'll go into that later. But seeing Karai so adamant and so stubborn against her father, who is the Shredder, may I say, and just seeing her stubbornness is it's really cool to see. Like she's defying Shredder and just seeing Shredder react in such a way. Because if it was someone else, Shredder would absolutely have him thrown out on the streets, or even worse, be shredded. You know.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm sorry, I had to put it in there.
It's been a long day for you, hasn't it?
Yeah. Uh, but
Yeah.
yeah, just seeing that was really interesting for me, and just seeing how he was so adamant to say, "Look, no, we're still going with my plan. The plan doesn't change. We'll think about that later."
Yeah, I have to say that it was for me. I found it like really interesting. I mean, I was really surprised by Karai changing her ways and wanting to help and actually stop the invasion. And I do like the big contrast between this version of Karai and the 2003 Karai, because the 2003 Karai would do stuff for the Shredder, and she wanted to basically make everyone happy and trying to help the Turtles out and yet just still help the Shredder out. And the light in this version is like completely different. Karai is looking out for more or less everyone, but she doesn't do it. But she doesn't try to help Shredder specifically. And I do like the big contrast between the two. And I do think that this a little bit here, this shows off like really well. But yeah, also we have mentioned that Karai is Shredder's daughter. I feel like we should probably bring this up now because I feel like we'll probably forget about it, or may not forget about it, but like when we do actually get to that point in the episode, it'd be maybe a bit too late to talk about it. But what did you think of that big reveal?
Oh, that reveal was, I'm not gonna lie, it was something, because as the viewer, like, you didn't know that she was the daughter of Shredder. Like, I was thinking, okay, she's like loyal to Shredder, like she's wearing the same armor as Shredder, she's got the same stuff as Shredder, the same fighting skills, well, different fighting skills, but it was just, I was thinking, it's like, who is this character? But now that we know and the cat's out of the bag, like, I was kind of shocked, to be honest. Like, I had it in the back of my mind thinking that's got to be like Shredder's family or blood or something, but now it's been confirmed. I'm like, yeah, I can definitely see it now. Like the stubbornness, the temper, the whole, oh, I'm going to end you sort of vibes, it's all coming together now.
Yeah, I have to say that as a Turtle fan, like it was a bit. I mean, as a fan watching it the first time, I was shocked by it. Even though from the 2003 version, they're more or less there's like the same relationship and all that, and so it wasn't in. So basically, it was one of those things. Basically, I should have known that it was, but somehow I didn't, and it's interesting. I would say. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, no. It's really interesting with how they do play it off, and I do still want to see more of this and see whether do take the relationship as. I mean, just because as I did point out in the previous episode, with how they present like the two family types, I think it'll be quite interesting to see them develop the idea of like that type of relationship and see where they could take things, where they could not, and what they could develop. And with all being the fact they are related, there is just so much they could do, so much they could like mentally screw with the turtles now and stuff like that. I just feel like there was so much there, and the things we should do later on in the show is amazing. But I feel like for this little bit here, it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe that. At the same time, I probably should have seen it a lot sooner.
Definitely.
Okay, and then for the next scene, we got Splinter giving Leonardo some pretty pointless advice about basically you should trust your gut, and unless your gut is wrong, then don't trust it. What do you think of that scene?
That scene was very confusing for me. Even I was confused. Like, even Mikey said, oh, that's the best kind of wisdom because you still don't know what the hell he's just said, and I'm gonna admit it, I was confused. I was with Mikey on that one. Like, how does that even work? But
Yeah.
that was funny. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to sit that one back and just go through it. But that was funny for me, and just seeing how Splinter is always that cool fatherly figure, and he's always gonna be that because he's the father of the turtles, and it's just awesome to see his wisdom. Even though sometimes we don't understand his wisdom's always there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say that for the wisdom bit, I do like those type of moments, as we don't really get to see that too often in other versions of Turtles. So like to see it here is still really amazing, and I do think that the voice acting here is still really makes the scene a lot better. But I do think that the advice he did give was pretty crap. It is more or less just like trust it or don't. It reminded me a lot of from episode 1, where basically it was allowing the turtles got to the surface. Where basically is saying you can go up to the surface, but no, you can't. And it reminded me a lot of that scene where it's just you more or less haven't got you haven't got a point, Splinter. So just stop talking. Okay, now the next scene, which I know that you probably have a few words to say, the Donnie simping scene.
Oh, that scene, to be honest, that scene was probably one, I'm not gonna lie, this scene and the last couple of scenes were actually the best few scenes in this episode alone. Like, I've gotten over the fact that Donnie's simping over April, and to be honest, it was kind of funny because we haven't seen Donnie simp over April in quite a while, and now just to see it again, like with the Komanichi stuff, and just when he and I bet everyone in watching the episode is thinking everyone's done that to someone and just saying, "Oh look, she's not pretty, you're pretty." It's like, no, you're not pretty, but you're not ugly, and it's like, it was just like, and I'm so glad
Kill me
Raph
now.
is like, yeah, it's like, oh my god, Donnie, please, and I'm so glad Raph took him out of there. Like, oh, that was a good save. Just, and to be honest, the real funny thing about it was that April said, "Oh, is it because she's pretty?" Like, it's like she was jealous, if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if anyone else saw it or you saw it, but it was like kind of jealousy. And of course, when Donnie went into it, that's when the relationship and the whole thing was busted wide open. And of course, thankfully, brother Raph came along and helped him out. And he even said, "Don't fight it, you'll thank me later." Like, that was just the god tier brother move that it did where that it was, and that was probably one of the good scenes in that one because Raph saved his shell in that situation from becoming a whole load of mess. But that was just a cool scene to watch.
Yeah, to say that, I don't know, like, for the most part, it's cringy, annoying, it's frustrating, I don't really know what to make of the scene, because one hand, I like how it has improved quite a bit, and I wasn't cringing that much, but at the same time, it's just like, oh my god, Donnie, just shut up. God, but, yeah. Okay, so in the next scene, we do have Vito's do go out again to try and stop the crying ship, but that's when Leo attacks Karai, and another spaceship comes. What do you think of these scenes?
That scene was this the scene where he puts the radar on?
Yes.
Yes, right. Because there's so many scenes with the ship and Karai and of course Leo. You're trying to figure out which ones, but I'm remembering now. But yeah, that scene with the radars and all that, and seeing Karai there with Leo again. She's constantly, honestly, what is with Karai and fighting everyone every 5 minutes? You know, it's
Yeah.
even Leo's getting fed up with it. It's like, I can't be bothered with this, Karai. Just leave me alone. Even Leo's getting fed up with it. But yeah, and just seeing them together, you always like it. During the episode, it does blossom even more so. But just seeing them together, there is something there, and you can see it. You're like screaming at the screen. It's like, this is something. Like, but it's just a weird one. But I just want to talk about the T-phone real quick, and it's probably going to be up in trivia. I'm hoping it to be, but Donnie, on the T-phone, Leo's got Donnie down as Donnie Boy, and I just the little tiny thing as Donnie Boy, as in the BOI, is like, it's just something that I just found really funny. It's like Donnie Boy, and he's just an alien. I just found that really funny. It's like the typical stuff on like people name random other people like Donny Boy, or just, it was just so funny to me, and just how the relevance comes up today as well.
Yeah. Just wait until next week's episode. There's a lot more interesting T-phone image you'll be seeing. But yeah, with the whole cry thing, I do think that her just coming in and just fighting everyone is a bit I must admit, yeah, I do think it has worn off a little bit. But the thing which does give me a little bit later in the episode is the fact that Karai says to Leo, I thought we were friends. She tried to kill him every opportunity she got, and yet she thinks, oh yeah, we're friends. How did that, just, no. But yeah, what do you think of the crane ship chasing down the Shell Razor?
Um, that was a cool scene. However, I just quickly want to point out, what is the Shell Razor actually being powered by?
This again. I'm not too sure. Just go along with it, Hayden. Just don't even question it.
I see it and it's like, I'm so curious to see what it's running on, but it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Donnie's probably got like a mini portable reactor in the back. It's probably being powered by some unknown technology that we, the audience, don't know. But we'll just go along with it. And of course, seeing the Shell Razor come along and just seeing the Shell Razor come along in that scene with the Krang ship following closely behind. It was, I'm not gonna lie, how were they supposed to take down an alien ship with compressed garbage and manhole covers after Leo's attempt of taking it down with his shurikens? I don't see how that's gonna help.
Oh, it made me laugh with like Karai. She just try hitting it with a sword. Like if the shurikens didn't help, what makes think a little sword is gonna help? Yeah, for this episode for the most part was just stuff was just happening because.
Yes, unrealistic.
Yeah. And then after we have Leo saving Karai and Raph's bike. What do you think of that scene?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, like I said before, we get to see a deeper understanding of Leo's and Karai's relationship together. And I'm not gonna lie, when Leo went out on the stealth bike, and of course I'm gonna say it again, the stealth bike looks really similar to the Batmobile or the Bat bike. I'm just saying it. You can love it or hate it, but it does look like the Bat bike.
Yeah. Okay. Quick before we move on. Do you want to hear the ship names? Some of the fans have given Leo and Karai and April and Donnie.
Oh, I don't know whether I'm gonna regret it or not, but let's do it. Let's go. Let's hear
Okay,
'em.
which one do you want to hear first?
Anyone. Let's rapid fire. Let's see what we got.
Okay, so for Donnie and April, it is April Tello. I think that's how they say it.
Apratello.
I'm not too sure about that one just because there's been so many ship names, but I feel like that one was the most popular one that fans came up with and used. And then the Leonardo and Karai one is Larai, which is not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
But it could be a lot better. Okay, but yeah, we do have Karai going into the Shell Razor, and that is when she notices the most important thing about the episode, that the turtles have an ice cream lamp. What did you think of that scene?
Oh, that was just spot on. Like the best scene ever. Like the technology behind the ice cream lamp was, oh my god, it was hard to describe. But I'm sorry, but just seeing the ice cream lamp just there is like, yeah, I don't think you have to worry about the Krang and the Shredder finding out about your ice cream technology. Like, you're safe there, Raph. Don't worry.
I really want. I mean, no, I mean, the thing is, I generally do actually really want that ice cream lamp. It looks so cool.
I'm not gonna lie, it's something that I would have hanging up on my wall right now.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we should probably move back onto the turtles before we go into a whole another conversation.
Yeah,
about
we're gonna start talking about buying an ice cream lamp and just putting it on our walls, you know.
Well, the next one we do have is Karate saying that she's going to get a missile launcher to blow up Shredder. What do you think of that scene?
That scene was that was interesting. Like we're actually going to see we're seeing an actual weapon. Like, we don't see many like weapons. Of course, we see like the katanas, the shurikens, the nunchucks, but we don't see like an actual weapon such as a gun or anything like that. The only thing that is similar to a gun is the Krang's laser rifle, but we don't actually see like an actual firearm, like a real life firearm, if you understand what I mean. But
Yeah.
she's talking about it, and we're actually gonna see a real life firearm. And of course, I got excited for it. It's like, oh my gosh, there's bazookas, there's RPGs. It's like, that's gonna be awesome. What they're gonna blow up first? And literally, as soon as I said that, Mikey says the exact same thing. And I don't know if it was sheer coincidence or just plain luck, but it was just so funny just to hear him say what I've literally just said. Is like, oh my gosh, great minds think alike.
I wouldn't start comparing yourself to Mikey just yet. I feel like you might have a few ways to go before we get onto his level. But yes, but speaking of the gun thing, I do find it interesting. So most versions of the Foot Clan, they don't use guns. The 87 show they use laser guns, but they more or less, that was one of those things. Basically, they even could do whatever they want, and it just made sense for that episode. And the only other time which they did use guns was in the 2014 movie. And let's just say that there's loads of problems with that movie. Surprisingly, no one really had a complaint too much with the foot soldiers, but I do find that interesting that that this was before that movie. But the only thing we had to say about that is, why does Shredder need guns when all of his foot soldiers use swords, sticks, blades, and all that? Why is he getting guns now?
Yeah, I did wonder that myself, really. Like, you don't need the guns. Like, you've already got all these other weapons. And you've got some weapons from Paxton still. Like Baxter Stockman, sorry.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was a bit curious as that. It's like, what are you going to do? Blow up the sewers?
No, unfortunately, he never does actually go back to the sewers. So, I mean, just like after that one time in episode 11, when he tries to blow up the sewers, and he supposedly knew where the tunnels were, he never goes back. And I mean, with all this heavy firearm, you would expect something like that. But I mean, the thing is, but actually, now think about it. The Foot Clan actually don't use any of the guns in later episodes. So this whole meeting was actually really pointless. That is...
Damn.
Yikes. But yeah, after that we do have Donnie teasing Leo about Karai, and that's when the Toes say that because they know where Shredder's going to be, they can attack him. What do you think of these scenes?
These scenes were with the Shredder and the Turtles.
Yeah, just before they go to the docks. Like, Donnie goes, "Oh, it's your girlfriend?"
Oh, yes. Sorry. How could I miss that scene out? Oh my gosh, I did not want to skip that scene. That scene, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing my head off when Donnie says, it's like, "Oh, is it your girlfriend?" Because Donnie, it is literally irony. It is the beauty of irony and karma coming back to writing Leo after all the other brothers said that to Donnie, and now Donnie's finally getting a chance to say it back to them. It was just so perfect, just seeing Donnie just getting back one at Leo and his brothers, and it was just so funny just to see it happen. And of course, Leo is getting frustrated because, like I said, there is something between him and Karai, and everyone knows it. Like even I know it. Just seeing it, and it's my first time watching this series. Even I knew there was something there from the way beginning. The first time they met, it's like boyfriend and girlfriend. They're shipped already. It's done. But that was just so funny, just seeing Donnie get back at one. It was a good scene. That was probably one of the second best scenes in this episode, which I really enjoyed.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I'd say that the Donnie scene, I felt like his roast for Leo was really cool, And I would like to see more of this like brotherly teasing thing again. Or no, or I'll say like a bit more often, because I feel like when this version of Tails does it, it is actually quite good, really believable, and actually quite fun. Now, would the Tails want to attack Shredder because they know where he is and all that? But the thing is, and okay, so in episode 11, the Tails find out about Shredder's plan by making April go to Shredder's headquarters. The Turtles know where he is, and yet they don't attack him. But yet, the one time when it is more dangerous to attack him, they decide to do that. Do you, some points here?
Yeah, actually, yeah, come to think of it, why didn't they do that in the first place?
Yeah, just blow him up.
Hold on, my brain's loading at the moment, just trying to realise what you just said. It could have been a lot more easier to take him out.
Yes. Okay, I feel like we're definitely taking a really dark turn forward.
We could have taken him out so easily.
Yeah. The thing is, this even happens in the 2003 show. Like, the characters know where he is, and yet they don't really decide to do anything about it until it's too late. It's just like, you know where he is, you have one good opportunity. Shredder doesn't know where you are. Just take your opportunity. I know that like Shredder is more powerful than them, but I mean, Donnie's definitely got some tricks up his sleeves, as we've quite clearly seen.
Definitely,
he could do so much to take him out, but yet no, of course not.
Oh, jeez, yeah, Donnie could whip up some, like, if he can build a giant metal robot killing machine that almost killed his brothers, build a shell razor, build T-phones, then he can definitely create something to take down Shredder. Like, hell, he could even make a bazooka or anything like that to take down the Crown ship, instead of actually getting the RPGs from Shredder. My mind's just been blown, hold on a minute.
You're welcome. Yeah, in the next scene, we do have Shredder meeting with Stronko about some weapons. But the Tails decide to use this as an opportunity to take out Shredder, but yeah, Mikey misses with the electric ball. What do you think of this scene?
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed meeting the new character. Like, his Russian voice, his accent, and I think it's a diamond in his eye or a robotic eye. That was really cool to see, and just seeing someone new for once. Like, I know we've seen everyone else, but this guy was different. Like, he's like a minor character to the series, and maybe coming back. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll have to wait and see. But it was just really cool to see his character design. Just the Russian, the spikes, like the red, the black. You knew he was a bad guy the first second you looked eyes upon him. But
yeah,
that was just really cool to see.
Yeah. I would just say that this is definitely your type of character. That'll be like one of your favorite, like fan favorite ones. He's Russian. He's a bad guy, and he's a weapons dealer. I feel like that's more or less what you love in a nutshell.
Yep.
What do you think of Battle's taking out Shredder with a electric ball?
I'm not gonna lie. It was a little baseball with some nails sticking in it. There's probably something to it, but just yeah. And of course, Mikey as like the main gunner. Like, I could see the logic behind it. Even Raph questioned it, but it was really funny to see, just seeing him fire at Shredder. And of course, I don't know why, but I loved his one line. It's like Bulakasha, Shredhead, and he just fires it. I don't know why. I love that little line. That just one line just made it for me.
Yeah, they say that the scene was like it was really cool, and do like how dramatically they did hype it all up. But I know that Karai notices the turtles, but wouldn't you think that the other characters would? I mean, it's not as if they were really that hiding, and like Strong Code or some of the Foot Ninjas could have spotted them. So, yeah. But then we do move into some probably the best parts about the episode. So let's start off with the Shredder versus the Turtles. What do you think of that scene?
Oh, I'm I've been waiting for this for ages. Seeing the Shredder actually go against the Turtles and just seeing them fight was excuse me, just a really awesome thing to see. Like the Shredder is finally out of his box and he's finally attacking the Turtles, and I'm loving how the fights are going at the moment. Sure, they could have been a bit better, but this is like early days, so who knows? But just seeing Shredder go full beast mode on the Turtles, and of course the Turtles going full beast mode back on him, and just seeing how the fighting goes, which is just really awesome to see as well. Just seeing why Shredder is just an awesome, badass main villain in this story. Just seeing him go to town is just awesome.
Yeah, I have to say that this whole fight scene was a really good sequel fight, and I do think it was just amazing. I do think that having it in daytime worked really well. The fight, I do think that having it like in the enclosed just like space really did help as well, as I would say, because with the first fight scene they were on the rooftop, they had like a lot more range to do what they wanted to do, and it was almost feels as though they could do anything. But here, with like the very limited space, I feel like that really worked with like building up the whole old Shredder's a really big threat. He's here, like there's no way out of it. And I do really enjoy that aspect because, I mean, they literally had to fight to survive, to get out, and I think it worked. Shredder, I will say this, I don't know if it's, like, Shredder did feel a bit weak in this scene, as because in the first fight scene, he just took out everyone in one shots and all that, nearly killed him, but then in this scene, I know that it has been 9 episodes, I think it is, since the last time I saw him, or 9 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it feels a bit weird for them to automatically just be even more better than Shredder, and they have on this turtle. But either way, it was still an amazing fight scene. And I do think that this fight scene and the next one, which we're going to be talking about, are the reasons why this episode is so good. But yeah, what do you think of the Leo and Karai fight scene?
The Leo and Karai fight scene, like it was literally basically the same fight scene, but it was a bit different because Karai was actually trying to kill Leo this time, which is very concerning because Karai and Leo were just really good mates, and now they're trying to kill one another after Leo betrayed her. But I'm not gonna lie, Leo was in his full right to do the same after Karai's track record. It just comes to show that it wasn't gonna work out. And then of course Leo betrays her trust and just goes behind her back trying to take out the Shredder. But the really cool thing, as we've said previously, that Leo finds out that Karai is Shredder's daughter. That was just the huge pipe bomb drop of the century, and and of course seeing Leo's reaction to the news, like he's questioning, like, hold up a minute, the same girl that I am falling head over heels for is my enemy and is the enemy's daughter. And it was just seeing his face and his reaction. It's like, oh no. It's like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's just seeing that face was just perfect.
Yeah, I have to say that the whole fight scene was just amazing. I definitely, I mean, there was one particular part which I thought was just the best, which was Leo bouncing off the car in slow motion. I thought that was probably the best scene in the episode. I'm not too sure what it was about it. I'm not sure if it was moved, the slow motion or what, but I thought that was amazing. And yeah, I do think that like the big bomb, the big oh my gosh scene with Karai saying that she's Shredder's daughter. I do feel as a kid watching it the first time that was a oh my god moment, but I do think now knowing what I do know, sort of it's like it's okay, but it doesn't have that same impact as it once did. But and the things when I was putting out the post on social media about getting reviews in for this episode, I actually forgot about the Karai saying that she was his father. No, she was his daughter and all that. So I think it's one of those things where like the first time watching it's like an oh my god moment. But I do think that afterwards, I don't think you do sort of forget, and it's sort of because I thought I don't know when that scene was happening, so yeah. But yeah, I will say this: Leah has an amazing shot with the missile launcher, and
Oh, yes.
and guess you have a few words to say about that.
Oh no, I let you go first because I have a lot to say.
Well, I don't have really much to say about it other than Leah has a really good shot. What do you think? What do you think of that scene?
Ah, that scene with the rocket launcher was one of the. I said this before, like I've had the last couple of scenes were awesome, but this one just takes the cake for me. Just seeing Leo with the rocket launcher, he's like eyeing down the sights, ready to gun down that gunship, and then, like you said, he's got bloody well good aim. Like just taking it down, and just that shot with an RPG, just seeing him take the shot was just an awesome scene. That was just that was just badass in my opinion. Just seeing Leo with a rocket launcher. Like I'm surprised he doesn't carry one more often. Just seeing him in the streets with a rocket launcher, he would take down any enemy with one shot. Perfect.
I feel like that'll be a completely different type show, and would not be on Nickelodeon, and would not be PG.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would be a.
I mean, it would be cool to see, but
That would be awesome.
Still,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, there was a comic in, I think it was either the 90s or 80s, and there was a story, this 4-issue miniseries, where basically Raph and his Casey Jones went on the run, and they were using guns and stuff like that, and so I mean, the thing is, it's not the first time the Turtles use guns, but like, it's always really interesting when they do, just because it's not really the type of thing that you would expect them to use. I mean, they're ninjas, so you really expect them to use all the classic ninja weapons. But when they do go into more of the modern weapons, shall we say, it is more interesting and a bit more unbelievable, but at the same time, they do make it work and it looks so amazing. To the point where I do feel as though there should be a new Ninja Turtle that has a gun. Some way.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, and then afterwards we do have Leo sulking because because their relationship with Karai is over, and that's when Mikey learns that the leprechauns aren't real. What do you think of that scene?
Oh, poor Mikey. He's like his heart sank. You could see it in his eyes. He's like, "What? Leprechauns don't exist?" And I'm like, "Oh dear." It's like the Easter Bunny sort of thing situation. It's like you're telling me
Oh yeah,
it's we've all been through this situation before, but with leprechauns not so much.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, I remember. I think this was the reason. This is the whole thing which got me into like start thinking about stuff in general, being a bit more critical, and you could see that as both positive and negative. Negative because I'm just ruining childhood dreams and stuff like that. But positive, I'm looking at it from a different point of view, which I do think that's definitely something which I thought, which I've been quite grateful or glad, which I've been able to bring to the podcast. And this was the scene which definitely did make me question a lot of things. And I do think that this scene in particular was the one which led me down to not liking or hating the show for quite a while. But then, I mean, things I've got back to really enjoying it. But this was like the scene that really made me definitely say like question a lot about the show, and to see it come back is just like it was such a good episode, good ending, and then to do something like this. But well, the actual ending is even better. I mean,
Oh
we
yeah,
got Shredder coming out with holding a Krang and Attacks Karai wanted a pet. Well, he got one.
yeah.
What did you think of that scene?
That scene was that was quite funny. It's like, oh, Karai, you've always wanted a pet, right? Here, have this alien that I pulled out of a ship. Like, have this giant piece of alien gum as your pet. There you go. Instead of a puppy or a cat or even just a goldfish would have sufficed. Have an extraterrestrial pink alien looking thing, which I pulled out of this shipwreck, you know?
Yeah. But the thing is, I feel like this is like another oh shit moment because again, like the two big bad guys coming together, and I do think that is like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what's happening next. Will we be working together? Will we be going to war? Something like that. That's just like so many possibilities. The only
Definitely.
problem, I will say this, the only problem I do have with this, and it's not really a big problem, but it's also one of those ones where I feel as though this scene could have been done a few episodes early so that you could have more time and develop their relationship between the two. Just because, I mean, until season finale, there's only like 5 episodes left. So from there to then, there's not going to be really too much. So I do feel as though that maybe this whole partnership could have benefited a bit sooner. And that's not to say, I mean, things there were like examples a few episodes ago. Basically, it didn't really matter if they were working together or not because sometimes they're not in the same episode. So I just feel so maybe this scene could have been done a bit earlier, but just to like really develop it a bit more. But yeah, what do you think of this episode overall?
This episode overall was a decent episode to watch. It wasn't up in my top 10, but it was a good episode to watch. Like those 3 scenes that we talked about earlier, that's what made this episode to be. And of course, sure, like you said earlier, like things were just happening for the story and the reason, but just seeing the cringy bits and all that, and just getting over the fact that relationships are changing, and just seeing the whole group of characters change over time was just an awesome thing to see. Like with the Kunonichi, with April training to be a Kunonichi, that's something to keep an eye on. And of course, the Kunonichi of Karai as well. It's just seeing them as well. And I actually learned Kunonichi. I found out the word and I'm saying it properly. I hope, at least. But
Yeah,
but
I,
but yeah, overall a good episode.
yeah, I have to say that I definitely misremembered a lot this episode. I mean, when I think of this episode, I mainly just think of that final dock scene, and I think that was the reason why I was saying that this is one of the best episodes. Like, even I'll admit, yeah, I do look back on this episode now and be like, for the most part, this episode was it's not bad, but and there wasn't any, but at the same time, there wasn't anything too great about it. But I will say that the dock scene, I'll say definitely would say that it definitely helped that make the episode a lot better, and I would say that it didn't definitely make this one for me. I would say, but like a bit higher up just because of like certain things which did happen in the episode. But yeah, okay. Do you want to hear some comments or a comment?
Let's hear it.
So unfortunately, we only got one comment this week.
No.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, considering that I went from quite a few last week to now just having one, and it's a little bit disappointing. However, the person who did reply back is well, they are they're called what was it? I really hate periods. They're
Oh,
back.
they're back.
I mean, welcome back.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome back.
I mean, just by your name.
Mm.
Okay, so and they put the writer fed reviewers some Lerai for us starving shippers. Goated episode. I'll say for the most part that is so true. They did give us a lot of Lerai in this. Yeah, it's definitely a really good episode. For the most part, but I wouldn't say it was a goat episode, but it was a really good episode. Okay, do you want to
Definitely.
hear some trivia now?
Yes, let's hear the trivia.
Okay, Karai reveals to Leo that Shredder is her father. That's not really too much of trivia, that's just more common knowledge within this episode.
Yeah.
The end credits name the Russian arms dealer Steranko. And yes, he does come back, so yeah, that to look forward to.
Yay.
When Mikey is about to shoot Shredder with the electric grenade, he says Buyakasha, Shredhead, which is a reference to the 1987 series episode Cowabunga Shredhead. What was this episode? I feel like I've seen this one. I mean, I haven't seen all the 87 shows, so I could just want to read the description for this episode, because I feel like I might have watched this one. If I can find the synopsis. Okay, definitely, sadly, I don't think there is, but I think this is the one where basically Mikey and Shredder swap. Basically Shredder thinks that he's Michelangelo, and Mikey thinks that he's Shredder. I'm pretty sure it's that episode. In that case, then that's a really weird reference. If it is a reference, I'm not too sure really. Okay, so time for the cast. Rob Paulsen plays Donatello. Kelly Hu plays Karai. Nono plays the Krang. Jason Bigg plays Leonardo. Greg Seif plays Michelangelo. Sean Astin plays Raphael. Kevin Michael Richardson plays Shredder. Mae Whitman plays April O'Neil. Nono plays the Karai. Hoon Lee plays Splinter. Now, who do you think voiced Steranko?
Oh. To be honest, I'm kind of lost. I really don't know. Like, his voice sounds so familiar. It's just, I can't put it together.
Okay, so the person who voices him is called Fred Tassios. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. And the thing is, his name is not really that famous, but the roles which he has been in, oh my god, he's well known for playing the Hulk in the Avengers cartoon, like anything, all the Marvel TV shows. Selected other roles. Hulk in multiple Marvel projects. Damon Bard in the Gears of War. Sharon Ortiz in the Mass Effect series. Zutula from the game StarCraft 2 Wings Liberty.
No way.
The character 8 in the Tim Burton produced film 9. Nicholas Billingsley in the Call of Duty franchise. Two Kits in Thundercats. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, the thing which really gets me is that he played the Hulk in like everything really. I'm pretty sure like even stuff like like the Marvel like TV shows and stuff. I'm pretty sure you've seen one about one point with the Hulk in. He did the voice of Hulk in that. And yeah, I mean, he's done like quite a lot of characters within the like Toll universe itself. I feel like he went on to do this version of a character, which is a fan favorite one, and then he realized. Then later, when they did a game, he got to do the voice of that character as well in that universe. And then when they rebooted the whole universe again, for the next series, Rise of Timothy, he came back and did a few other voices. So he is sort of like a little mini celeb for Toll community, but yeah, I mean the thing that always gets me is that he does the voice of the Hulk, and yet he's here doing a Russian arms dealer. How did he go from Hulk to like doing a drug deal, like a drug deal with Shredder, but as a Russian arms dealer? How did he go from that to that?
I have no idea. Something must have happened.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't tell if he's going up in the world or if he's going down in the world, but either way, it's still amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so for next week's episode is called Karai's Vendetta. Okay, I'm gonna say the same thing which I said last week. for the most part, next week's episode is going to be really good and really amazing. And this time, I actually mean it.
I'm not gonna lie, the name just rings just awesomeness right there.
What do you think is going to happen in that episode?
Ooh, Karai's Vendetta. Well, I'm gonna just go out on a limb here. It's an episode about Karai, I bet. You know, it's gonna
There's
be
a strong focus
Karai.
on her.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of focus on Karai, and of course, it's gonna be a vendetta. So maybe it's revenge for something that someone has done, potentially the turtles, for almost killing her father, per se, or potentially Karai's vendetta to take revenge, or vendetta to potentially join up with the turtles, but it's highly unlikely after what the turtles just did. But yeah, I must say the vendetta can be translated into a variety of things, but most commonly the vendetta is a revenge type of situation. So I believe Karai is going to avenge and take vengeance on someone. I don't know who, but most likely the turtles.
Okay, that's. Okay. So I think it's like you're going in the right direction. It's somewhat like nearly there, but not as close as other weeks, shall we say? But like you, you're so close to getting like what was it, like 2-3 weeks in a row,
Yep.
and yet he had to go ruin it.
Damn it.
Why? Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this episode or anything?
Overall, this episode was a good one. It was decent. It had some funny bits, some cringy bits, but they weren't too bad. It was dialed back. Some bits where you questioned how things could have been done differently, but they all worked out in the end. But overall, it was a decent episode to sit down and watch.
And so yeah, that's gonna be another episode of Talking Toes. If you want to get onto the podcast, you can leave a message on Anchor, either a voice message or a text message. You can leave a post or comment on the YouTube community tab, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube video, or you can leave a comment on the Reddit post. But yeah, that's been another episode of Talking Toes. I've been your host Teddy,
And I've been Hayden.
and we'll see you soon. Goodbye, yo, bye.
Bye.